Thank you, Gurpreet Singh Nihang ji, for your time for this interview. Flew in from California, especially for this. Really appreciate it. Can you tell us about your association with Sikh For Justice founder, Mr. Gurpatwant Singh Pannun?
Yes, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Lamti. In 2006 and 7, Pannu and some other associates, they came up with the idea for Sikhs For Justice. So the initial plan was they wanted to fight for the justice for the Sikhs that were like the genocide that was committed in India, and they wanted to bring forth the culprits and to punish them. So they said, they asked the community to stand with them. And my father, as a pro-Sikh Khalsa Raj, as he came forward and he was helping them get donations so they could get that help with money so to run their foundation. So that's how I got connected with them. And
so can you tell us about your father, or what his name is, what he was doing as a profession?
He's my father's name is Surinder Singh. His short name they call him Sodi, but it's Surinder Singh Sandhu. So he was just like a regular Sikh, devoted Sikh who was devoted to the cause, and he came to the United States for a better life. And with that, when the Sikhs called on him, Khalsa, it's part of our as a culture, you know, as a Sikh, that we stand for the right, and he stood with that. And when Pannu came on, he was ready. He's okay. He did his part, and that was Pannu wanted help with get donations, money, so they could actually go forward with these plans to get the culprits. So because Pannu initially wanted to get this heard in United Nations, so for that he said the money was the biggest thing, and that's the part my father helped.
And which city of California you live in?
I live in Atwater, California. It's in the middle. It's like Central Valley, small town, about 26,000 people. It's a small, it's like a village, small town. It's a nice, peaceful place.
And do you recollect the first time he came and met your father?
Yeah, this was during, they had this meeting in gathering it was in the Bay Area. Mm-hmm. So it was, I think it was 2006, 2000, in between those years. And that's where I met him, and that's where he explained to everybody what this cause was. My dad had previously met him, and he knew him. But like me personally, seeing him face to face, that was the first time.
And how big that gathering was?
It was pretty big. It was all these Sikh leaders, Gurdwara leaders, and everybody was there. And everybody was supportive. And it was something that, at that moment, we felt like it was something that we're trying to go peaceful and right way, so we could get attention, world attention, and at least it was like a you know, it was a rising sun thing. Like the day was coming in, the light was coming on the Sikhs, because we felt like being betrayed because nobody was punished for their crimes and their involvement in the genocide.
So that meeting was in a Gurdwara, in fact.
Oh, it wasn't like a restaurant.
It was a restaurant.
Yeah, it was a public place, like a restaurant. That's where they held this.
And he got full support from the community for the cause to fight for justice for the victims of 1984 riots.
Yeah, he got full support. That was the full support. And everyone was, because at that moment we felt like that was needed, because at that moment, because community felt like, okay, we fought this military way, you know, like the guerrilla warfare. We've done that, but a lot of people felt like, oh, you guys haven't gone to UN, done your due diligence. So why don't you guys do paperwork? No paper trail was in our struggle. So we felt like, okay, we're moving to the right direction. At that time, that's what was encouraging part. And at that time, Pannu wasn't acting or in a way where we could feel like, oh, he might. At that time, he was more acting like he's a servant. So he was more involved with the people. So nobody at that time would have thought that today, the differences.
And I think in 2007, he filed the first case against Sonia Gandhi.
Yes.
Then Manmohan Singh, then Kamal Nath, then Prakash Singh Badal, then several other leaders, then Captain Amarjit Singh. All these cases is filed.
Yes.
For the same cause, right? He also went to the United Nations as well, right?
Yeah, that's what he told us.
Right.
That's the thing he was telling the community. At that time, nobody knew what was going on, but everybody was trusting his word that he's going to the UN. But later on, as time went on, we find out at the present time that a lot of those things he said were lies. It was like he was building his house on cards. So it was lies that he was kept building, and the Sikhs at the time trusted him. They didn't felt like, oh, we need to question him. Like, did you go there? So he was like doing the same thing, showing people he was doing, and now we come to find out that a lot of the stuff he said he done was not done.
Can you list out few things which you say that he said, promised, and later on turned out to be a lie for the community?
Like the first, we'll talk about the cases. He hasn't come out and tell the community what was the results of the case. So when I went out and searched my own, it comes out those were dismissed because due to jurisdiction, because he has no jurisdiction on the individuals he was filing cases against. Then the other big thing that was, I think it was around 2015, they collected signatures to submit to UN, and all over the world, millions of signatures were done. People came from India, all over the world. Everybody signed and given their proof of identity and like even thumbprint. And they were supposed to submit them in Switzerland. He just left them laying in the motel. And somebody from the motel called one of the leaders from Switzerland, and that's how they found out that he left them. So that's what we found out later, that he did that. At that time, he said, I submitted him.
So you're saying millions of signatures that were submitted on behalf of the Sikhs signed that they should take up this cause to the United Nations.
Yeah.
He collected them, but he never went and submitted to them.
Never
he
did.
lied to the community.
He just left them. He didn't even try to submit him. He just left them laying in the motel without even anybody's knowledge.
Entire paperwork was left in a motel.
In a motel.
In Switzerland.
In Switzerland. And that's when we find out. That was a big shock.
When was that? Which year?
It was around 2015.
2015.
He did that. So, yeah, those are a few things. And after that, it continues where he goes, I will pay you a certain amount of money to do certain things. And once things are done, like painting the walls and saying slogans in front of the DC office, raising the Khalistan flags on DC offices or official buildings. And then the people that actually listened to him done it because he promised them money for a certain amount of things like, oh, okay, I will get you a passage out of India to foreign nations. All those were lies because all those people somehow got arrested. Like, for example, these guys, they did what he told them. And once they crossed, he promised he would get them out of the country. So he said, go to Nepal, and from there, his contacts will take him further. What happened was those individuals reached Nepal. Guess who's waiting for them? Punjab police.
Oh.
So, like, that's like shock to the community. At that time, nobody thinks about it. Okay, how they get the information. And for them, it was like, oh, a state is bigger than that, bigger than everybody. They find out. But actually, when we actually asked the families and we talked to the people, like some people are in jail, some people come out, they had communications, and we found out that it was all planned. Those people would get arrested. And Pannun has not owned a single person saying the person that have written the slogans on the walls or done things he said, that they're Khalistanis or they're his own people.
So he was getting his own people being arrested in Nepal and
even in India too.
Even in India.
Yes.
Why? What so?
That's this question still bothers me because I still have to get that answer out of Pannun. I could just go into this world and think about things. A lot of things will come up, but I hope Pannun comes out one day, gives me that, gives us the answer, because it's not just my own question. It's the Sikh public, Khalistanis. They're asking that because people's sentimentals are so much attached to the word Khalistan.
So these things started getting exposed in 2015. You were associated with him from 2006 and 7. And you decided to leave him around 6 months ago, right? What happened? Why you decided to leave him?
So the things that happened in 15 didn't get exposed,
right?
They started when I left. That's when we started asking them questions, finding out. Then we find out. I even talked to the people that were involved, and they tell me, yeah, that's true. The person even came on and admitted saying who did that. So when public is asking us questions, we are asking them questions. Hey, these questions are being asked to us because we representing the SFJ. We're telling people, hey, Khalistan's coming, and they ask us this question. What do we tell them? We can't just build sandcastles. because it's not going to last. We can't float these paper boats in the river. We need some answers. And his colleagues will tell us, oh, Pannun doesn't answer anybody. Why should you? And then slowly it started out with then they started targeting my families. And then Pannun didn't want to take responsibility. He didn't want to admit, say, like, my family got targeted. I got targeted because I was supporting Pannun. And Pannun said, right before I left, he said, well, if they're targeting your family because of me, leave me. I don't need you. So those things he would say.
Did you had any position in SFJ?
I was one of the media persons I would do like a lot of lectures, speeches on the stages. And a lot of times when they would vote, they go to Gurdwaras. I would do like a video shots saying, come support us. Then tell people about it. Even on the stages, I would say that we're doing for the right cause. You should come join us, vote. We're going to get you Khalistan. But then people ask me like, okay, how are you guys going to do it? How many more votes? When we asked Pannun, he said, don't ask that question. If you ask that question, you're Indian. And then we had, because I was brought in because I was more attached to my religion. And he said, we need people that would explain to people how SFJ is more of a Khalsa. It's not just political, it's religious too. Like, like Sikhi is both media and PD. Politics and religion, they coexist. And he's we've been able to explain to people how politics work. But we got to show people how's this going to goes with our Sikh religion. And I used to do that. And when I would do that, things I would say, they would like oppose it. Then slowly one day we had this argument about it. And they asked me this question. And that's when it struck my nerves. They said, you want Sikhi or you want Khalistan? And I told those people, I was like, let me tell you one thing. If it was my enemy asking me that, I have a different view to it. The Mughals used to tell us, you want freedom, you want your religion, you're going to die. But if you leave Sikhi, you can get all this. I was like, you asking me the same question. So I would take Sikhi 1,000 times over Khalistan, because to me, Sikhi is more important. Khalsa traditions and values are more important.
So briefly for our readers and viewers, tell us what's the difference between Sikhi and Khalistan?
So Sikhi is equality. It gives people equality, and it gives people the opportunity to prosper without telling people who they belong to. They don't have to tell people, oh, I belong to a certain caste. No, you have the ability, you grow with your ability. And Khalistan supposed to be that value, but since Pannun has changed that definition, he's been telling people, what he's been doing is isolating Sikhs, like targeting Hindus. I mean, I understand it was the Hindu mob that came, but then if you read the whole story, there was Hindus that saved us too. But the other thing is, I used to give them this example. I was like, Guru Gobind Singh Ji fought against Aurangzeb. He knew that Aurangzeb was the big hand behind his family being wiped out, Shahidis, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, his father. But then when Aurangzeb's son comes to Guruji, he helps him. It's like, we have to understand that part. If you want to truly want to create that Khalsa state, Khalistan, that ideology, you have to understand that Sikhi is the one that forgives, that brings in everybody into their fold. Because Sikhi is like a garden where you got different fruits, different flowers. It's not just one flower. It's a bouquet of you got different varieties. And Khalsa actually brings everybody in. Sabbe Sanjival Tasadain, like everybody equal. Avallah Noor Paya Kudrat ke sab bande. So Guru Sahib Ji said, if Khalsa shall create a kingdom, it shall be the one that say Begumpura, where everybody is prosper. Nobody worries about they're living life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. They're given the right.
Thank you for such a nice explanation. Before I go to the next question, I would like to ask you, what kind of individual Mr. Pannun is, where he comes from? You have been associated with him for last 17, 18 years almost. Tell me about his personality.
But his personality is more like egoist. He thinks in public, he comes out as, I'm not your leader, but then inside he wants to be the leader, because he even asked me, he goes, he asked us, you guys preach and let people know that I am the Wahid leader. And as a group, we had a meeting where it was said that now we're going to go preach to people, say Pannu is the Wahid leader. The Wahid, it means the only, the one that stands above all, that kind of leader. So we want to make sure where people start saying Pannu's our leader. Because Pannu wanted that, but he just didn't want to say it because he knows in Sikhi, if you proclaim yourself as a leader, no one will accept you. In Sikhi, people actually go pick somebody. And there's this fine example of Nawab Gurpreet Singh. Sikhi picked him. The congregation picked him, said, you're going to lead us. And Pannu wanted that acceptance from the Sikh community, and he wasn't getting that. And he wanted us to preach that. So when I saw this whole thing, like that, when in SFJ, he has that ego. And if it's like this, it's like my way or the highway. That's his attitude.
He's fighting for a separate state for Khalistan, right? Is he himself a Sikh? Does he follow the basic ingredients of Sikhism?
I haven't seen that.
Okay.
I haven't seen those. Because if he actually was, then a lot of the problems that occurred, they will not occur. Because a Sikh knows the true identity of Sikh, and he wants to make sure that people get that, So I haven't seen that from him.
And which part of Punjab he comes from? How he came to US?
Who did? Pannu?
Pannu.
Much as I know is he belongs to the Majha area, the Amritsar side. Mm-hmm. And after like his, he got in a fight in college. And after that, he left and he crossed from Nepal and then came to US. That's the story I've heard, but because I haven't asked him personal questions. So that's the story that we get to hear.
So for people outside, Pannu is the face of Sikhs For Justice, right?
Yeah.
But who runs the Sikhs For Justice? Is there a council, is it a board, or is it a management committee? How is it run?
Well, it's actually run by Pannu. He runs it like a dictator. He shows to the public one thing, but then he's the one that's running everything. He tells people, he'll call and then he'll plain out cuss you and use his vulgar language and tell you he would, because he's the only one running it. A lot of people have left him now. In the last, since the voting happened in San Francisco, a lot of the people that were with him, they left because of the way he runs it. He shows people that he's just an attorney, but actually he runs it with like iron fist, like he's the one running it. It's like what Pannu says goes. And he'll tell somebody, won't you say this? Just to make people feel like, oh, Pannu's not really running it. And then he comes out as the leader, but when people ask questions, they'll say is, oh, everybody's the leader. All Sikhs are leader. And we asked them, no. Come on.
So his mission started from getting justice for the 1984 white victims. Then it gradually over the years deviated from that to a separate state. Then also against giving threats to people in India. How did it deviate from there?
It was all the money game. Because the more he went towards that and the more he got to the sentimental Sikhs, it was because Sikhs he wanted to show people that he's doing something. And the Sikhs felt like he was doing it. Because once he said, oh, do not fly in Air India, because this and that, a lot of the Sikhs said, look, he's saying this. Do not fly that. He's coming out with this. And his statement will give him around 6 to 8 months of peace where people will not question him.
Where does he get the money from? What's the funding?
A lot of the Sikhs, big businesses help him out. And then a lot of them, the Gurdwaras, he asked them, and then he has set up accounts where people join them, and they have this payment plan, pre-plan, like they'll give them a credit card, $200, $400 a monthly keeps going to Sikhs For Justice.
All comes from the United States? Does it come anything from outside as well?
We heard rumors, but I can't because I don't. There's things that he gets funded by the Indian agencies. The money comes from there and a lot of things go on. And then the way he works, we will feel like, okay, things aren't looking the way he's.
I've heard the other way around. He gets funded from Pakistan side.
Yeah, he does that too. So it's possibility because we heard that. that he's working with that being the double hawk agent that he worked with both. A lot of times it's like, well, we as a Sikh, like when we talk as a community, we feel like that Raw is just picked up Pannun and put him into the Pakistani agency. It's like they're playing with both agencies, playing with this.
But you see, during the operation India-Pakistan War, Operation Sindhu, he especially came out in support of Pakistan, saying that all Sikhs should even leave the army and fight against Indian army and support Pakistan. But that definitely shows his support towards Pakistan.
No, because he did that, but a lot of Sikhs didn't feel that way. Mm-hmm. They didn't, because that one thing when he said was, "Why don't you be traitors, give out information?" That hurt us because Sikhs will never do that. Because if we're fighting with somebody, we don't want that tag. Nobody wants that tag. So it actually backfired him. He was trying to play this India versus Pakistan, Sikhs and Pakistan and that card, but it kind of backfired big ways because a lot of the Sikhs didn't support that. And those are the few things that are downfalls of people leaving him, because even the Khalistanis felt like that Pakistan's not going to help us. It's a different story, because why are you doing that? Because at that time we felt like he came out as a leader, but he should have just saying we're going to support Pakistan. What was his arrangements with Pakistan? He didn't tell us that. What's Pakistan going to do for us? That's a big question. Is if, let's say, we help Pakistan and it goes, Pakistan wins the war, what do Sikhs get out of it? Is there a certain thing you signed, or have you said something? And he wasn't doing that. He wasn't answering those questions. That's one of those things where his silence was killing everybody, saying, no, this guy he just wants Sikhs to be butchered. Because that was isolating Sikhs. Because you got to understand, the Sikhs that live in India, they have to survive in India. And as a Sikh, even being a Khalsa, living in America board, we felt sincerely that he was actually setting up Sikhs to be genocided and killed, and because that was like the biggest blunders of his downfall. Like, I feel like that caused us, like part of me, to really say, I have to leave this person, because what he's doing is he's just throwing us under the bus.
So do you consider, before you left, do you consider yourself as part of his core group?
When I left, no. At that time, I didn't. Well, when I joined, I felt like I was fighting for a cause. But then, as
you were part of his core group, core team,
we all were. We were part of the media group that he ran, because he was running it cleverly, where he would not show up and say. Then we would get this when we're doing a meeting. They'll say, the attorney Pannun Sahab is saying this. This is what we need to do. Now we're gonna start downgrading and vulgar language against the Hindu gods and goddesses, or sometimes like Islamic, like why don't you start disrespecting the Muhammad or Ram and them. So that was some of the things they would tell. Like, he was isolating
Good.
us.
We are having very interesting conversation. Let's take a short break. We'll be back again in a few minutes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your time again. We are back from the break. We're talking about the differences within the Sikh for Justice, how his core group members are leaving now. Who else have left him?
Couple of the founding members, and one of the person that left him was Gurpreet Singh. He was the main witness that this whole Sikhs for Justice was created on. They left with him because it was due to his vulgar language and how he insulted his own members and his own fellow people that were with him. So that was the main thing. The other thing was a lot of his people that were members of his SFJ, they felt like betrayal, since it was beginning. He promised everybody that it's gonna be a Sikhs for Justice, and this whole group is gonna fight for the justice that was to serve justice to the victims that wasn't given to them of the 1984 genocide. And first, because they said even if we do a referendum, that was the one thing that was talked within the group was even the referendum we're gonna do it as a Sikh referendum. That it was for the people that were hurt by this genocide. Let's get their voice. But when they came out initially, it was for that. But then when the voting started, he came out as a Khalistan referendum. And that's when the whole that friction started happening within the groups, because we felt betrayed, because if when we asked him, if let's say the votes happen in Punjab, who's going to be voting in it? And he said everybody. And then we had that idea, okay, this guy is now pushing us towards failure, because we all knew that if everybody voted in Punjab, not the Sikhs, it's going to be more towards no. And then he could walk away with saying, hey, I tried, but guess what? They didn't vote for us. So that's when every member of Sikh Justice that stood with the Sikh ideology and with the principles of the Sikhs For Justice that was set up for, they felt betrayed, and that's when they started stepping back.
You spoke about he speaks vulgar language, threatened his own people. Outside, we have seen that he has threatened countries, diplomats, leaders of opposition, trying to blow up the India plane. All these threats have come up. He has often burned effigies of leaders there, people. But how violent he is inside his own group?
Oh, he crosses the line. He would call people, let's say he felt like somebody did or said something that he didn't like. He would go to cussing extent of where he's cussing with, vulgar language when they say mothers and sisters. He'll bring that in. He'll bring your family in. He'll use the language to the height of where you say the vulgarness goes. And a lot of people felt like, if this is how he's going to act when he has no power, so how will he act with the people when he has power? Because a lot of times, you probably heard this when he used to do call shows, and people will call him and then he would say, are you drunk? Have you done any drugs? Like in Punjab, he said, I think that was something that a lot of Sikhs started feeling like, that's not our leader. And Khalsa will not accept that kind of a leader. And it was like the starting point, the pot starts boiling. It was that initial reaction for people saying, that was another reason a lot of people requested him, hey, don't come to the public, because you're being portrayed as the face of the SFJ, Sikhs For Justice, and you claim to be peaceful a movement. But when you do that, where's the peace? So it was kind of like double standards. He was saying a thing, he was saying something, and he was doing another thing. And that was also causing this, it was building up to the pressure where eventually people decided that no more,
He has always often announced rewards for people doing something in India or here. Has he ever given them money?
No.
Rewards, $1 million or $500,000?
Yeah, that's because I smile and laugh, because that's a lot of questions came to us. People ask us, hey, when is Pannun going to pay for these people? When we asked them, they said, that's not your problem. We taking care of it. But when we talked to the families, when we started going out on our own saying, hey, because now we got to find out the truth. And then once we started talking to people, they said, no, he hasn't even called us. And he would block those people's numbers when they started calling him after things happened. He would block them. And then a lot of the people, when they would call their handlers, the people that set it up, they would initially say, okay, meet us at a certain place. They would show up, and the person that was told them wouldn't show up, but police will show up, they get arrested. So that was a lot of the things that him making these false
And
promises.
where did the arrest happen? In US or in India?
In India.
In India.
Because a lot of these slogans that were printed on the walls, saying Khalistan, Jindabad, stuff like that, or SFJ, they would do that, and then those people ask for money because now they're on the run. And people on the run, they need financial. And Pannun had promised him. And
So those who helped him in his cause in Punjab, maybe writing something on the slogan, something on the wall, something organizing things, were being arrested by him. He got them arrested by the local police.
Yeah, by the local police. There's people will get arrested. Their identities will come out all of a sudden out of blue. They get arrested. And a lot of times, like, okay, this guy, okay, nobody knows. Like, recently, this person was arrested. Initially, the statement out of police was, we don't have anything on him. And then when they arrested him, they said, oh, we found this on a camera. A month later. That kind of, anything's possible, but then it rings your, like as a person that's as attached to SFJ, we think about it, okay,
So
Why
that
is
you
it?
believe that the footage was provided by?
Yeah, it was provided and everything was because these guys record your conversations. Personally, they have recordings. They even there once I left SFJ because I had made some complaints about being targeted to the FBI. So I would tell them, hey, I reported this to the FBI, the agency, so I would be on the safe side, right? They know what's going on. And they had recorded my call, so when I left, they threatened me saying, oh, you told us that you're an FBI agent, and we have the recordings, we have all these messages we're going to come out with. And they tried that, but then, as I said, I told them, hey, I went and filed a complaint. I'm not an agent. Filing a complaint because I'm a U.S. citizen, I'm an American asset, that means I belong to this country and I'm going to go to the authorities. I'm not going to go to Canada, right? So I went to FBI to let them know, hey, my family's being targeted, which I later on found out it was actually SFJ creating this whole dilemma. I don't know why would they do that, but it was like gut-wrenching once I found out that I was preaching for them. I was telling people how this is Sikhs for Justice, and my whole family was targeted by Pannun and his people that were put on the ground in social media.
Coming to threats, right? In the last 2 years, he has said, and he has come out in open saying that he has been threatened for his life by Indian government, right? And there has been cases as well. There's some cases filed. There's one other case in Canada as well. What is your understanding of the entire episode?
So initially, we thought okay, but then when you dig deeper, there's no threats because that's just to glorify his place, to put the fear into the Sikh community, saying, "Look, I'm fighting for you. I'm putting my life on the line, and you guys are questioning me." So that was one of the tactics. So the Sikh community will feel sympathy, saying, "Hey, he's our leader, right? He's put his life on the line for us. Why are we questioning this man?" So that was like another thing to play with the sympathy of Sikhs, that for the Khalsa, saying, "I'm fighting for you, and if I end up dead, I'm gonna die for Khalistan, for you people, for the Sikhs, and you guys are asking me questions." So it was kind of to get people to not ask him questions.
So you believe there has never been a threat?
No, I don't believe that because it doesn't look like it. Because if you look at it, if you connect the dots, whenever he feels like, okay, so if he's such a threat, why would he go to a Starbucks, make a movie, make a video, post it online? Nobody would do it, right? In their right mind, I'm under the threat. I'm not going to show people where I'm at. I'm not going to share a single thing about it because I'm being threatened by not just some regular gang members. I'm being threatened by a state. A state, has unlimited sources. So if I'm threatened by a state, then I do not. And you see him drinking coffee, sitting in front of a Starbucks. I wouldn't do that, right? And that kind of makes you think, okay, well, so he's under threat. He can't, when the voting happens, he can't come join us Sikhs who are participating in this event, but he could go to a coffee and make a video and sit alone, act like no one's gonna hurt him.
But does it threaten others within his own people?
I think his other people are more under threat because Pannu has, as we hear, he has connections with the higher authorities in India. That threatens his fellows. Like I'm just gonna touch on this, like Niger, in case of Niger,
right?
They feel like a lot of the Sikhs now feel like it was all done by Pannu and his crew. I mean, that's something that we talk about.
Tell me in detail what is your understanding of the Niger's case.
Because in Niger's case was one of his close associate, Pama. He's from England.
Niger's close associate.
No, it was Pannu's and Niger's. He was more close to Pannu, but he was still with Niger. But at one point, they came to blows with each other.
Pama came to blows
with Niger.
Okay.
They came over certain things they were doing. And a lot of things before Niger's murder, a lot of things Niger was doing, he's separating himself from Pannu and the company. And then even one thing he did was he made sure their TV channel didn't go on air. And that channel, same channel, goes air starts in Canada once Niger is dead, after his death. Another thing is, as a community, we asked Pannun, hey, why haven't we hired any separate attorneys to fight for Niger? But guess what? He hired an attorney for Pama. So why would you hire an attorney for Pama in Canada, right? And why haven't we even hired an attorney other than the public prosecutor?
Why did he hire attorney for Pama? Pama was also
Because there is rumors. So I'm gonna say there are rumors that their Pama is involved because they have said the people that actually murdered Niger, they had some kind of association, some kind of a relationship with Pama. And one of the guys was a client of Pannun too. Nobody brings that out. He was fighting his immigration case, something like that.
So help me understand this. Pama is in between. Pama is a friend of both Niger and Pannu, right?
Yeah, but close to Pannun.
More close to Pannu. So there is a fight between Pannu and Niger.
No, between
Pama and Niger.
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 And after that fight, Niger doesn't want their TV channel to go air in
Whose TV channels?
SFJ's.
SFJ's TV.
Yeah.
Channel. What's the name of the TV channel?
I don't remember off the head.
Okay. So after Niger dies, this TV channel goes.
That goes there.
Why would Niger oppose this TV channel coming up?
I mean, Niger wasn't just opposing that TV channel. He was opposing Pannu's way of doing things.
Okay.
Because Niger actually was more fundamentally close to Sikh. He would when he talked about the salvation for Sikhs, he would talk it through religion. He would put Guru Granth Sahib Ji first. He would put Guru Sahib Ji first. He would put Sikhi first. And on the contrary, it was Pannu that would actually oppose those things. Even Pannu would say that if a thief got us Khalistan, we'll take it. And I personally asked that question to the team, saying, if a thief who has no ideology believe between the Khalsa, right? So when that guy comes into power, you think he's gonna let us use our ideology?
So basically, he's telling his own people we should be getting Khalistan by hook or crook, by illegal, immoral means. We should be getting it, right?
Yeah.
To which many Sikhs like you don't agree with it.
Yeah, because see this, for us, for a Sikh, a regular Sikh, word Khalistan doesn't mean that just forming a piece of land. It means the ideology of Khalsa. Because ideology Khalsa is to bring everybody to equal. And then the guy that doesn't even follow Sikh Khalsa ideology, that's like a thief, like Kala Chor. In Punjabi, they say Kala Chor. Kala Chor means like somebody that's really, really down. He'll hit you below the belt. He'll do whatever it takes. If that kind of person is creating a country, what kind of country will he create? Because his habits, he's not gonna become a holy person. He's not gonna become a Khalsa. So our question was, if Amritari is gonna die for something, they should be one that they should be able to observe the benefits.
I'd like to go back to Niger one more time for a quick reason. While the investigation is going on, there's a court case. We are no one to go into that investigation. But tell me, what is your understanding of who killed Niger, how he died, and where is Pama right now?
Pama's in England. He came to Canada in matter of that case too. They haven't disclosed it, but we kind of have that gut feeling. So if you ask me, my gut feeling is that Niger was becoming that thorn in SFJ's way that they would have been exposed long before even my kind of somebody like me would have come forward. So they took him out because he was accepted. You got to understand, Niger was one of those guys that was loved by the community, and he worked for the community. And when COVID happened, he opened the door, said any student. He didn't say Sikh student. He said any student who wants to stay here, needs food. Food was packed for them. He was more of a community. He was the true Khalsa. Now, on the other hand, a lot of the SFJ people kind of opposed it. And they didn't oppose it openly, but in group calls like I was involved in, they opposed this whole thing, saying, what is Niger doing? Because Pannu's main reason was we have to create a division between Sikhs and Hindus. We have to create that division. If we don't create that division, then we don't get this. That's what was his thing. And Niger wasn't for that. Niger was for that one Khalsa Raj thing, the Guru Sahib said. So that's my, then when you look at it, and then we're like, no, there's something fishy here, because the other thing is, SFJ guys never go cover the date when Niger date comes, but they go as a group when the guy that was the other guy that was attacking Pannu, his date comes out. They go show up. Everybody showing up.
So they are not supporting come in any way for Niger's thing.
And the other thing I forget to tell you is, I would like to ask SFJs, if they like Panna Supama, they were so supportive of Niger, why didn't they pay for his funeral? Niger's family paid for Niger's funeral. And SFJ is claiming him as their martyr, Shaheed. And if they're going to claim Niger, he's a pure soul, that pure Khalsa, but I've heard in the group saying that his family, his sons, they're become Indian. They work for the Indian agency now. They become the pro-Indian. But SFJ didn't even pay for the funeral. And Pannu keeps saying that I will pay $1 million here and I'll pay you this much. But guess what? He hasn't even taken care of his own.
One related question. There's a lot of talk about, when it comes to Niger's killing, a lot of talk about gang fight war in both Canada and California side. Does he have a relationship with those gangs? What kind of gangs are they?
Because a lot of those gangs, they've been, there was a recently 8 people arrested in Stockton, Pavitra Singh and mainly their leader. And once they get arrested, Pannu claims those people. He said these are Khalistanis, that they're innocent until proven guilty. So we support them because they're Khalistanis. But on other hand, people that get arrested because they put slogans on the walls in India, Pannu hasn't come out and said these are Khalistanis. I'm not going to UN and file a petition because India is doing human rights violations. It shouldn't be the other way around. And those people that were arrested, if you check their charge sheet, they're charged for rape. They're being charged for theft. They're being charged for intimidating the witnesses. And it's a big list. If you pull that out, San Joaquin County, you'll see that Pannu has taken responsibility for the gangs that are claimed by India. Because Pavitra was wanted in India by the NIA and all that. He got, and his father is a police officer. That's another thing. So a father that's works for Indian state. His son comes out, all of a sudden he's a Khalistani, and Pannu claims him. So what does that tell you? So that's my question too. Is something we ask. Community asks them, why are you claiming these people that commit crimes, but you say your whole movement is peaceful? So there's a lot of things, the gray areas, and sometimes we can't feel it because it's like some things aren't there, but you could just feel it. As a human being, as a person that believes in equality and all that Khalsa, that ideology, it questions them. It rattles our inside. It just gut-wrenching, saying, so you're going to support these people that commit crimes. So once again, if we pick, let's say Khalsa is created, you're the leader. So you're telling me you're going to let these criminals do what they want and you're going to claim them, but how about us innocents? So yeah, they have those connections.
You have already filed a complaint to the FBI about the threats you have received. You have received some threats from him as well. What kind of threat you feel for yourself after you left SFJ?
A lot of the threats was some were like threatening. It's coming through his people
on WhatsApp or messages.
Like
phone call.
One of them is like his people that run the social media. They targeted my family. They put my picture of my wife, my kids, and they've like auctioned my family. They put like an auction on my family saying, here somebody's putting $500 on so-and-so. And they've done those things to where they're like, because they told me like, you started the wrong war, because I said, because I left, I felt like betrayed. I was like, I'm gonna leave. Like at one point, I was like, I don't think I should even do anything because I felt like hopeless. Like, okay, nobody's there that wants to stand for the truth. But even when I left and not even uttered a word, they kept coming after me. Like one of their slogans was Nihang Pannun Tangyasi, that kind of slogans, right?
What does it mean?
It means like Nihang raised his voice, Pannun hanged him. So it was like those kind of remarks that saying, you think you could do that? Then I was like, you know what? As a Khalsa, I've done my ardas to my father, Gurpatwant Singh. I'm going to come after you. Now I'm going to expose you to the extent that my father will let me do it. So that was my thing. And then I started coming out, even reaching out to the people. Then I found out even some of the people that work with SFJ, they left them now. And they're supporting me. A lot of the information I get and a lot of the thing, like some of the things that were there. And I tell them, hey, this happened, right? And they'll tell you, yeah. At that time, I didn't have that proof. Now I do. So
I have two more broader topics left. One is the Sikh referendum, and second is the future course of action. But before that, people who don't know about Sikh community in the US, from outside looks like he's a popular leader. But from inside, can you tell us how popular he is? What is popularity level over there?
I would say zero.
Or he proclaims himself as the sole leader of the Sikh community.
Yeah, he proclaims that, but Sikhs don't. Simple as that. Sikhs don't consider him because one thing, if Sikhs considered him a leader, they would never call him the Gotawala, the ponytail one, because that's like the worst remarks you could get in a Sikhi. Because to the Sikhs, because dignity, turban means a lot more than just piece of cloth, because it means the respect, the crown, and they feel like if he wants to be the leader of the Sikh, he better walk the shoes of his president, the people he's replacing, like Nawab Gurpreet Singh, even Baba Janal Singh, because those people stood for what they believed, and they stood until their last breath, and that's what they want out of the leader. And Pannu has fallen short of that, because it's his own way of saying, I will wear the star when this happens. That's like fake. That's like trying to appease people with given reason to just hide behind things, right? So that's pretty much Sikhs don't consider him as he's not our leader.
So we will take a short break again. But we have two more topics to discuss, Mr. Nihang. Don't go away. One is about how the Sikh referendum goes through it. What is the inside story about it, and what is his future course of action? Thank you. Thank you for being with us for this fascinating story. Insider story from a person inside the Sikhs For Justice who was with Sikhs For Justice for about 18 years. Now we'll go into two other topics that we are left with. One is about the Sikh referendum. Can you tell us what is this?
Yeah, well, because a lot of Sikhs don't know actually what's actually going on. Because first, the SFJ never told people what kind of referendum they were conducting. And there's two ones that everybody knows, that, like yourself, you probably have that knowledge, is there's non-binding and there's binding. And what Sikhs For Justice is doing is non-binding. And what thing was that was bothering us, it was once we found out this is non-binding, the UN can't forcefully do anything about it. This is something they're doing on their own. It's not it's not elected by UN, right? And then thing is, when they told us the Sikhs, they were telling people that if you vote and a certain amount of votes go in, that this is going to create Khalistan. And they weren't telling people this is non-binding, that this is not going to work. And with the law is UN doesn't force countries to have a referendum. If India decides that people of Punjab are happy with them and they allow the referendum, then UN will accommodate that. And they will do whatever needs to be that referendum gets conducted. Other than that, there's never going to be a time when...
But tell me, in these referendums, last one was here in the city itself, yes, in Washington, D.C. Is there any UN presence in those referendum?
No, there's none.
Then how come UN is involved there?
Actually, UN is not involved. You could anybody could search that. UN was not involved.
There's no involvement of United Nations.
No, there's no involvement in the United Nations.
Who is conducting this referendum?
SFJ is, and they're doing it on their own. And they created this Punjab Referendum Commission. And the other thing I want to tell people is, once you check the ballot, it says India controlled Punjab. That means they're trying to conduct a referendum for that 250-mile radius, that current Punjab. That does not include Himachal. That does not include Haryana. Does not include Rajasthan or any areas that they show people on the SFJ showing that this map here is the one that we want. So they're making another fool out of people is that they're actually asking for the 250 kilometers, that 50,000 square miles area, that Punjab itself, for that. But on the other hand, they make a map and tell people Delhi banega Khalistan, Haryana banega Khalistan, that kind of thing. Those are the lies that we wanted to expose. Say, hey, look, Pannu is deceiving you guys. He's lying to you because, look, he's saying one thing and he's doing another thing. That means he's just making a fool out of you. And a lot of this has to do with money because a lot of the funds come in. People actually go and donate to the cause. Say, oh, we're doing the right thing, but then he's lying. Even they say this name was Dane Waters. They say he's official from the UN, but he's not. He just works for political parties to do their campaigns. So he's privately hired just to make a fool out of people. Say that's why they have him get on the stage, say the next referendum will be conducted in a certain place. But in reality is that's just all made up. They already know. Because in the past, they used to say the next city is this. But on this referendum, they did something different. They already said 2 cities. In the past, when we used to ask, they're like, I even asked them like when San Francisco referendum was going to happen. And days before that, I asked them like, hey, so what's next? They're like, no. The UN decides what's the city's going to be. Next city's going to be. So, but then I researched when things were like giving me like, there's something fishy, right? Let me check it out. So I check out Dane Waters. It comes out, if you go Google his name, pull out his profile, he used to work with Democrats and Republicans to do their campaigns. And he's a private firm. And he does not work for the UN. So those are the certain things that they used. They used some of these names that like American names, people, to fool people, saying Dane Waters is coming from the UN. No, he's not. He's a privately hired attorney.
So this is not a referendum and such. It's at the most, can you say, an opinion poll?
Yeah, survey.
Survey.
We can say it's a survey because it's not official. No UN is participating. And I would like to ask a question. Like, can Pannu prove that this is being conducted by the UN? Where has UN signed a letter of content saying that they're the ones allowing Pannu to do this? Is Dane Waters is really even therefore I would ask him a question that a lot of people ask him, he hasn't answered. Those bodyguards, he says the national security is giving it to him. But in reality, we know that they're privately hired. Why is he lying to his people? So, and this
bodyguard, those are protecting, security.
Yeah.
Okay. How does the referendum happen? How does the ballot box look like?
Ballot boxes looks like if you watch, even if the videos you watch those, you'll see it. I've seen it in my first hand. Mm-hmm. You know those boxes we buy from Walmart for put clothes and extra things. It's just those, and they put like Sikh referendum or Khalistan referendum stickers on them, patch on there, and they put like a little hole on the top. And the one question we always used to ask them was, how can you do a counting of a ballot that has no scanning? It's not being scanned, it's just put in.
There's no seal there.
No seal, nothing. And the other thing you might laugh at this is when San Francisco and Sacramento votes happened, they stored these ballots in somebody's home in the city of Rockland in their garage. It was sitting there for like almost 6 months, and that person started begging them, hey, you know what? Why don't you take these? I don't want to get in trouble. So and we joke with them saying, how long is the ink? And then the other thing is they keep continuously doing it in the cities they've already done. So that's mind-boggling. Is if let's say we just go with their countings, when you count those, and the votes become more than what the population of Sikhs is in Canada and America.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
So you mean the same person might have voted multiple
times,
or
yes.
someone is using the ballot on their own?
Because the ballot has no security. It's not official. It has no seals, and no one knows who's authorized to carry those, because they pack them up and boom.
And where are these ballot kept? So who has counted? Has there been counting being done?
We have known, but that's the question: is how are you coming up with these numbers? Because if we look at the area, square feet, and the people that will fit in that area, and then they said in San Francisco they said close to 100 some number people put ballots. It's like if we look at the area and the people we fit in there, it's not possible in that short amount of time to ballot those many votes.
According to him, how many people have participated in this ballot?
They're going close to 2 million people already.
In US itself?
Yeah, they say in the US itself.
So you think out of 5 million Indian American population, 2 million are Sikhs?
Yeah, because
100% have voted then.
More than, if we go with their numbers,
Yeah.
it's more than 70% already. And a lot of them, and that they tell people everybody's voting in yes. So if everybody's voting in yes, and close to 70%, because we go with their numbers.
So has it already been counted based on which he's saying yes, or this not been counted yet?
We believe it hasn't been counted. They just make up the numbers to make a big between the people. Oh, these many people have voted. This is happening. Because a lot of times what happens is they'll start saying things like, you know how Indian media will pick up, say, oh, this ballot is going on, this, and they say, oh, look, the media is screaming off their heads because of these votes. So it's a mixture of many things that they're making fools out of this Khalsa community. And that's the one reason we wanted to come out is, hey, this guy's creating division between us. Us means is like, as myself, I have Hindu friends, I have Muslim friends, I have Christian friends. I myself is a Sikh. And when I go to, if I ever haven't gone to any, but when I did, I have people of all castes, we talk, we sit together. And that brotherhood, he's trying to break that. And as a Sikh, as a Khalsa, we don't want that. We want to create, even if Khalistan is created, and if it's being created on the bodies of our friends and families being isolated, we don't want that. We want some kind of sort of governance that actually makes everybody happy, that everybody feels appreciated. And with Pannun's thing, he's isolating the Sikhs, and he's creating this, he's poisoning our friendships and our long bonds, because we got to know that Punjab has history. Our families have history that dates back to past the time of our culture, our religion started. We go way back. Our families are generations. We're connected by the generations. And then right now we feel like what Pannun is doing, he's poisoning that. And I think to create a better environment in a country or in a land of where people live, it could be done without poisoning that brotherhood. Because what Khalsa said, what Guruji said, he wanted everybody to be equal. He wanted to take everybody in and give them that rights. And the way he's portraying things, it's like he's on a mission to rip that brotherhood apart, because we stand by each other in the hard times. So he wants, I feel like it. And then a lot of the Sikhs, as we talked to our communities, they used to come up to us. They knew I was involved in the SFJ. They would ask, hey, why is Pannun doing this? Why is Pannun saying, kill these many Hindus, do this, do that? I was, no, he's not. Because I was trying to cover up for it. But then when I go and ask them this question, they're like, oh, this is above your pay grade. No, we have to create this division. So those things at the end, when a boiling point comes, and then I felt like that if we keep going at the pace he's going, we're going to destroy more than what we're going to gain.
So it means he's creating he's damaging the Sikh community more than anyone else.
Yeah. And the Sikh community at the most, because we're the ones asking for the rights. And I think if he says it's a peaceful movement, but then when he creates that division, that's when it hurts, because we're like, it's supposed to be peaceful and it's supposed to create equality. Right now we're spreading hate. When I call out my Hindu friend or somebody that is a non-Sikh. I would say that. If I'm calling out a non-Sikh and making these slogans, doing these things, and on the other hand, I'm saying I was a victim. How am I a victim when I'm doing that? And that's one thing, and we try to explain to the group, to Pannu, is that's damaging us. And in the long run, it's not going to help us.
What do you see the future of referendum, the so-called referendum?
I think Sikh community is waking up to the truth. I think I can say the plug has been pulled. I think it's just a matter of time when the house of cards falls apart. I think it's going to come down fast, but just wait a little bit. The Sikhs will see the truth. The only thing, if they want the truth, I would tell them, don't trust me. But you know what? Do your due diligence. The people I've said, like Dane Waters, go search. You will find out what I said, that's how it is. Because it's there. Because Pannu has brought out saying, just because he wanted to bring out that kind of person, like American person, saying, oh, why would American come join us? Well, if you pay somebody, they're obviously going to join you, right? But it's what he's saying is just all lies, and they're coming out. And I wanted to be part of the history that says, hey, somebody spoke the truth, somebody had the guts to tell the truth, and that saved us. So that's my mission.
So you haven't left him because of your personal animosity, but because of ideological differences with him, right?
Yeah.
When is the last time you had a meeting and conversation with him?
With the group, as a group, it has to be over 6 months since I left. And that last meeting was that I've told them that what you guys are doing is creating more hatred. It's not helping us, and I think now it's hurting my my beliefs, and I cannot sell my beliefs for the little gain, and I cannot create this hate that maybe later on I can't live with, because I want to let people know actually the truth is, and what Sikh is, what Khalsa is, because we want the purity. We don't want the division. We want everybody to be happy, to have that sense of honor. Because
you have come here from Florida, we'll ask a question about that. What were the reasons why you visited Florida? But what is the future course of action from now onwards?
We're trying to let people know that what we need to do, and the shortcomings of our own people, our own thing, like Sikhs, and what's the reality. And we're gonna try to let our people know that what things we need to do, because we haven't been able to deliver the true message of Khalsa. And my mission is now to deliver the true message of Khalsa, saying, this is what Khalsa is, this is what Khalsa believes in, and this is what we're going to fight for. Because Khalsa doesn't fight for little pieces of land. Khalsa fights for this universal peace, integrity, and happiness of the people. Because Khalsa is a Kalpurk's Fauj. If Khalsa is bigger than just one person, it's an ideology that's going to bring a peace. So I think my goal is to let our people know that what true Khalsa is, what we need to do.
And how you're going to do it? Visiting Gurdwaras, the cities?
There's a lot of things I'm trying to get a lot of these leaders together. A lot of things I'm doing that it includes the Gurdwaras and everything. It's going to be a total group work where I'm trying to reach out to the leaderships and other people, try to explain to them that there's certain things that what Guruji taught us and what we're doing. And one big question is, a Sikh needs to look deeper inside their hearts and truly say, what Pannu is doing, is this what Guruji would want? Is this what Khalsa is? Because Khalsa doesn't create division. Khalsa brings everybody together. And that's one unique thing about Khalsa.
From this platform, what would you tell the Sikh community in US, Canada, countries like Australia, Switzerland?
I would tell them to actually become a Khalsa. Become what Guru Sahib Ji said you to become. Because once we become pure, once we become that Khalsa, then our most of our problems will go away. Because I think a lot of Sikh problems are being created because we do not understand the true meaning of Khalsa. And a lot of people, because there's some people have the personal agendas, but in reality is if I, to me, I would, biggest message would be become a Khalsa. Try to understand what Guruji gave us, his teachings. And if we walk that path, I think we could, because you got to remember, 18th century, we Sikhs ruled. We were kings. We weren't kings because they were outnumbered. No, we ruled because we had something special. We actually brought everybody together. The example is Maharaja Ranjit's kingdom, his rule, Sarkar-e Khalsa. When I learned this, he had no jails. And that was the reason, because he was doing his due diligence due to the Guru. Mm-hmm. So if, as a Sikh, if we become a Khalsa, if we become the Sikh of the Guru Sahib Ji, and understand the teachings of the Guru, I think a lot of our problems will be solved, and we wouldn't have and then we will be able to get our true leader. Because
thank you for your detailed interview. But before I let you go, I'd like to ask you. You were in Florida yesterday. Can you tell us what you were doing there?
We went to Florida was a reason, because one of our Sikh brothers, he was involved in an accident that occurred in Florida, and then three people were unalived in it. So as a Sikh, because when this happened, the community didn't understand, because I'm brought up here in America. I was young when I came here. I understood it wasn't just the accident happened. It was the repercussions that were coming up, and our identity was being targeted. So what we did as a group, we reached out to United Sikhs, and we wanted to let the American people that we are American. We understand one of he made a mistake, accident happened, and even we understand the 3 lives that aren't with us anymore. They were unalived. We have sympathy for that, and we stand with that, because as a Sikh, we stand with the truth. So once we were, because we weren't a big organization, so we were trying to get people together to get it together. In that time, we were telling one more thing, was telling Pannu, hey, guess what? You call yourself a leader, and you want a Sikhs to follow you, and you can't even go see one of your own. What was that? And then, because we said we're going to pray for the victims, we said all those things, we're going to go out, reach out to Harjinder Singh, all that stuff, Pannu started doing that. And then when he went, he said he met them, he was the attorney, and he even made him, he came out, he made him a Khalistani, because those things, I think he shouldn't have done that. That is damaging to himself. He should, and then he started lying. He met him, he didn't meet him. He said he presented no.
But he says he met him, right?
Because he didn't have attorney. So United Sikhs, we hired 2 law firms, and a law firm from Florida. The attorney went with us. 2 of our congregation person, they went with them, and they met Harjinder Singh, and Harjinder Singh signed letter of content to his attorney that was provided by the United Sikhs. And United Sikhs was already in dialogue with his family in India, and they approved that. And they didn't approve Pannu. And Pannu, everybody here, I want to let our community know, Pannu is not his attorney. He declined Pannu, because Pannu went there, and this is mind-boggling. Pannu told Harjinder that he shouldn't hire an attorney. He should let a public prosecutor that is being provided by the state to handle his case. So when we got that message, we're like, okay, the state is going against Harjinder, and he's going to hire another guy from the state to state to state. How's that going to work? So we provided him with that, and then we even took a turban, because they said it can't be too long. So we took the amount that was allowed by the law, so we presented that. And then in the Florida, the sheriffs and the authorities there were so helpful to us. They listened to what happened, and then we even appealed to the nation that let's not make this political charade. Let's not make Harjinder Singh the scapegoat and sacrifice a goat to say, because of him, this is happening. Yeah, mistakes happen. But on the other hand, to our community, I want to say that I don't know what's wrong with us. We're signing petitions that are saying that, hey, he's been sentenced to 45 years. His case hasn't even begun. It hasn't even, only hearing he had was for his bill, and that was denied. And now he has an attorney. This thing's gonna go for a while. And then a lot of things I want to say from your platform is to my community, especially Sikhs, Punjabis, let's not be attorneys. Let's not be judges here on these medias. You want to talk about the problem, that's fine, but do not do any of the things that would cause a mishap, like, or put the wrong words in the wrong people. Because a lot of people, and we were getting targeted by the turban. And this accident kind of was giving them the kind of reason they wanted. So it was a political vendetta that the Republicans and the Democrats, they want to go at it. So that's where our prayers are like, hey. And the other thing to our Punjabi community, I want to say from here is read before you sign things. Read before you sign that, because that backfired us. And a lot of the people were saying, you guys are signing something, he's not even in prison and you guys are already doing this. So you guys have no remorse. And then I want to let the public know too, as an American, we understand the pain. As someone that's working because of Sikh, we've gone through things, and I can't replace them, but I could be there for the pain and any kind of help. And we're trying to even set up a GoFund for the victims. So I just want to make sure that those victims, the families, know that they're in our prayers, and we always there for them. So,
one quick follow-up question. In these 17, 18 years, when you were associated with him, how many times he has gone out and helped Sikh individuals or groups when they were victims of hate crimes, or they were being attacked, or racial attacks, other things happened?
None to my knowledge. Because...
None? Not a single one?
Not that it comes off my mind, because... So when I look at the people that got arrested because they will go back again, and he's never taken the credibility. People have been doing things, and he hasn't stood up and said, hey, this is not what we stand for. So he hasn't done anything to help our Sikh community. He's done to where he's created division. He has helped isolate us. So a lot of things with him is like, even if this is how it was, if we went to them saying, hey, this is happening, people want to know what's the Sikhs For Justice going to do, they would tell us, okay, tell them, go vote. Khalistan will be created. We're going to solve this problem. Like the floods are happening right now. If Sikhs would go up to Pannun, he would say, oh, if Khalistan was created, these floods would not happen.
Okay.
So that's his mindset. Yeah. So
great. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for getting us through the inside story of Sikhs For Justice. You have been there for around 18 years with them. Thank you so much.
Thank you.